What's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges back with you. It is a Wednesday night. What a fantastic day. If you were outside today, holy cow, lower 70s, right on the money for the forecast. It felt fantastic. I mean, compared to where we've been, if you don't like the really cold stuff, unfortunately, it's coming back. Although for just a very, very short time, we are tracking a cold front tonight, and you can already see where it has sliced through parts of Florida. You see, we're at 60 in Orlando, nice and mild still. There we are in Tallahassee, the front pretty much right there, and then back to Pensacola. We back are in the mid 40s. That's another mean front. We're taking a live look tonight in Micanopy, where we do have clear skies now, but the clouds are going to try to increase over the next couple of hours as that front approaches. Jasper, we are mostly cloudy in parts of the North Florida. That is where we have some rain falling as we speak, as that front starts to plow through the Florida Panhandle. So here is our front. We'll take a closer look. We'll zoom in some Jacksonville rain back off to the north and west of the city anyway. Gainesville, we're starting to get in on the rain, and there are those clouds that are working their way into the northern side of Marion County. Again, they are very thin right now. You can see some of them in the street lights. Again, Micanopy just hanging out just to the north here. Right there, popping up on the map. That's where we're taking a live look, and you can see the very thin clouds working through north central Florida. Eventually, we're going to have some light showers to track on the map. There we go. Cold front inbound. I think for the morning commute, I don't think it's anything too crazy in terms of the rain. Let me put a pause point there. Things racing on me tonight. There we go, 9 o'clock. I think the future model right here is doing a fantastic job. There is 9 o'clock tonight. That pushes through. So now we get towards 5 a.m. And the front itself is pretty much right along the I-4 corridor. So if you're close to the I-4 corridor, Zellwood, Tangerine, Apopka, New Smyrna Beach, Daytona Beach, Leesburg, Groveland, back to Tampa, that's going to be our best shot of rain in that 4 to 6 o'clock window. Still hanging on to a few scattered showers, though, as we push 8 to 9 o'clock. And then I think by lunchtime, most of us are basically done. I don't think these showers are too widespread. I think there's going to be a broken line. Nonetheless, there will be rain chances tomorrow. I'm not guaranteeing you see the rain by any means, but those rain chances are going to be there as that cold front slices through. Temperatures to start the day tomorrow are going to be relatively mild if you are still ahead of the front. So with that said, though, if you're up early, getting ready for work, or need to get the paper or walk outside, take the dog out, have the umbrella ready by the door, because don't be caught off guard when there are showers around tomorrow morning when you're up early. And that's going to be mainly from probably Palm Coast down to Orlando-ish, Tampa. That's what I just showed you there with the high-resolution future radar. Behind the front, though, it is already going to clear, and it is already going to be cold. Back to 35 in Pensacola, 39 in Tallahassee. We're back to the upper 50s still in Miami, 60s in Key West. We are way still ahead of the front. The deal is that we're not going to warm up much throughout the course of the afternoon. We are back to being way below average. Today, just a notch or two below average. But there you see it. We struggle to get out of the 40s from Tallahassee to Port St. Joe to Pensacola, Apalachicola. 57 in Jacksonville tomorrow. And then we're going to be back toward the low 60s in Orlando, mid 60s in Naples, 74 in Miami. So everybody across the state of Florida is going to be below normal in the temperature department tomorrow. So that's going to be again for Thursday, February 5th. Then this is what we wake up to on Friday. We're back to the 20s and 30s in like extreme central Florida. So we might be able to slip into the upper 20s again in Marion County, but everybody back into the 30s. This is a short-lived, not as intense cold blast. I mentioned this really last week just to keep all the plants covered again until we get to this point Friday. Once we get to Friday, just so you didn't have to go back out there and redo it, I don't know whose plants are alive. I mean, even if you covered it, it's really, really hard to survive the temperatures that we just did if they are these straight up tropical plants. So show of hands, whose plants died this past week. 37 in Orlando, though, 36 in Jacksonville, back to around the freezing mark in Tallahassee into Ocala. So it is going to be quite chilly again as we work our way into Friday. Then we start to climb out of it, and we climb out of it for an extended period of time. So we're at 62 in Tallahassee for highs on Friday, 62 in Orlando. Everybody gets their sunshine back, though. That's going to be the deal. So at least we're going to be feeling very nice in the sun. The cold hits again, CW, on Friday morning, really Thursday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, and into Friday. So that's going to be the deal with that. And then I think we really start to warm things up a little bit going forward. Forgot to mention at the top of the show, we are CW's Plants died. I'm glad the ficus is still alive. That's impressive. That's impressive. I've seen a lot of not so good looking plants lately sent into the newsroom. It's crazy. Yes, that is true. That is 100% true. Very true for tomorrow night into early Friday morning. And then we start to warm up for good. And again, it's all because of that front that is plowing through parts of the Florida Panhandle as we speak. You see the rain, not very heavy, and that's what it's going to be through Central Florida as well. Just a few light showers. I don't think it's more than a quarter of an inch, and quarter of an inch is being generous when we're talking about the rain. I don't think it's going to be pouring. There may be a stray downpour in the mix. I think just a light rain. I don't think it's anything too crazy tomorrow. I don't think it's anything too crazy. I mean, we could use the rain. I don't think we're going to get a ton. This is something that we're going to, tomorrow, we're going to look a little bit closer at this, the drought monitor. It comes out every Thursday. So it's not going to include the rain that we pick up tomorrow because it ends on Tuesday. They calculate everything. The time period ends on Tuesday, and then it's released early Thursday morning. So it's not going to have the rain that is falling tonight in the Panhandle. It's not going to have the rain that falls during the first half of the day tomorrow for the peninsula. But we're going to take a closer look at this because this is becoming an increasingly large problem. Of course, we've had several decently large fires across Central Florida over the past 48 hours, really since that bigger cold front came down and kicked up the winds again. We need help bad because we are about to get into the worst time of the year for drought and wildfires. So any kind of rain we'll take, it's not going to really be enough to kind of get us out of this drought situation, but we're going to take a closer look at that tomorrow. Alrighty, guys, I have to get my first break in. When we come back, it is Wednesday, so that means it is Weather Headlines Wednesday. So we're going to take a look at some of the weather headlines across the country, and the biggest one is that there is a ridiculous, gigantic, enormous blast of cold. We get in on part of it on Friday, but most of this one focuses right onto the Northeast and New England. Wait till you see how cold it gets up there in 3 minutes. What's going on, guys? We are back on a Wednesday night. It is nice and mild if you are tuning in from the peninsula portion of Florida. If you're in the panhandle, and not so much, we have a new front coming through, and that's going to reintroduce the chill back into Central Florida. We are coming at you live, of course, on News 6 Plus and on the INAClickorlando.com, and of course the News 6 YouTube page. If you're watching on YouTube, post in the comments where you're tuning in from, and we are going to get back at it. By the way, we're taking a live look tonight in Micanopy, Florida, as we are waiting for a few little light showers to push through. You can see some very thin overcast there pushing in to Micanopy. Jasper, we have the rain falling right now in North Florida as the cold front slides through. Temperature-wise, again, you see the divide again. Panama City's in the mid-50s. Orlando's around 60, 67 in Miami. So they have recovered. Miami, certainly, we did this afternoon nicely. But there is the change. Look at what's going on again across the Great Lakes, Northeast, Mid-Atlantic. It is 11 in Detroit. It is 17 in Pittsburgh. It is 24 in Minneapolis. The chill has never left. And for those folks up there, it is actually going to get way, way worse for how cold as it's been so far this season. It's going to get even colder, believe it or not. And this big purple bullseye is situated right over Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. And this is something that is going to stay with them through the weekend and intensify through the weekend. Look at how purple this is. So what I'm doing here, you know I love playing with the dabber. That is going to be temperature anomalies of about 30 degrees below normal across Virginia, back up into New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Ohio, Michigan. Like, that's crazy stuff. That's going to put them to, way below zero. Way below zero. So for that, I want to show you this. This is the actual air temperature, not the wind chill, or this is the wind chill for Saturday. Let me just double check my data here. Yeah, so this is not the wind chill. This is the actual air temperature, getting down to 22 degrees below zero. With the wind factored in, watch what happens to the wind chill. It's kind of crazy. And again, the cold just re-intensifies up there. So like Watertown, New York, Utica, New York, Sunday morning, they are pushing 40 degrees below zero. So another ridiculously cold blast of cold. Intense cold up there. Thankfully, we just get a piece of it this time, and it is very, very short-lived. And then we are going to go in the up and up in the temperature department, really starting on Saturday. Saturday is the transition day back out of the chill, and it should be that way for quite some time again. So this is the temperature outlook, February 12th through February 18th, and you see the warmth just surging. The darker the red, almost that pinkish color, that is where the confidence is the highest for above normal temperatures. So certainly right through the plains, upper Midwest, and then we are finally included in some orange for like the first time in a couple of weeks. We should get above normal once we get into Wednesday and Thursday, if only by a few degrees or so. But we're going to be heading by the middle of next week back into the mid 70s. By the end of next week, we could be touching 80 degrees in the Central Florida area. A little bit warmer than that in South Florida. So there is some nice big warmth to come. I think Saturday is the day that you can chill with all of the precautions if you've been trying to protect your plants. So you can get back out there and do all that stuff, because I do not foresee at least anything in the next 2 weeks that would have the cold coming back to threaten plants. So all of the precautions, whether it was for pipes, certainly I think we're out of the pipe danger zone. But for the plants, Friday's going to get them again. So that's why I was just saying, like, literally for the last 2 weeks, just keep them covered until this point, until Friday morning. Once we get beyond Friday morning, we're going to be able to uncover those plants. Okay, there's a lot of people just joining on YouTube. If you're looking for cold front information, I'm going to have that for you. Before we get to the break that I have to get to in just about 30 seconds, I want to show you where the front is right there. And then we're going to go over the rainfall timeline if you want to stick around for that. And then the temperature drops. We'll have about 3 or 4 more minutes on the other side of this break to talk about the timeline and the rainfall and all that stuff. If you want to stick around, I will see you guys in about 3 minutes. Thanks so much for taking some time to hang out with me tonight on a pretty mild Wednesday evening. I'll see you in a few minutes. Alrighty, guys, what's going on a Wednesday evening? Hope everybody's doing well tonight as we are tracking another cold front that's going to take our temperatures back down into the 30s by the time we get, oops, wrong button, sorry about that. It's going to take our temperatures back down into the 30s by the time we get to Friday morning. We have to get through some rain first, so let's time that out together. Thanks, CW. 9 o'clock tomorrow evening, or tonight. Today is Wednesday. I don't know what day it is, clearly. Wednesday, 9 o'clock, cold front coming through. There we see it start to slice, and it's pretty much spot on right now. So morning commute for Central Florida. There could be a few downpours intertwined in this, but for the most part, it should just be on the lighter side for rain. And again, most of that comes in for the morning commute tomorrow. That's going to be Thursday. This is all kind of out of here on Friday, but then the chill slides back in, and that takes us back down into the 30s. So it is going to be another cold morning on Friday. This should be the last gasp of the winter chill for at least a week, maybe two. And then, then that takes us into the third week of February. And then you are really getting up against the end of winter in Florida because we obviously make the turn a lot quicker than everybody else. So once you start talking about if we can break out of this, there may not be, I mean, ridiculous cold snaps left. There certainly will be cold fronts for a while. Again, we typically keep the cold fronts rolling until we get through May. Then that's what we're talking about as we go forward. But nonetheless, one more cold night, bitterly cold night. It'll be chilly on Saturday morning. Just a little bit of rain coming. There's not a lot. Certainly not going to help out much, unfortunately. There it is. There's the cold front coming through. And then about right where you are, it's not much. I mean, a quarter of an inch max everywhere. And that's being generous, I think, for sure. So that's exactly up into Putnam County. Big, big arrows. So it actually, we just got a breaking news alert on the News 6 app. So if you have the News 6 app, um, evacuations underway in Flagler County due to a raging brush fire. I'm going to try to see if I can pick that up on radar where that's at. It's not showing up on radar. So yeah, I'm not seeing anything on radar, but we have apparently another big brush fire that just broke out in Flagler County. So we're going to have more on that coming up in just a couple of minutes on News 6 at 10. Alrighty, guys, I have to run and get ready for the newscast. Thank you so much for being here tonight. That's what we need a lot of. We need rain. We've had some pretty decent-sized brush fires pop out over the last week. It's going to be really windy again tomorrow, which is obviously not good news. So we're going to be watching that for sure. So hopefully we can get a little more rain and we can get this stuff under control before it gets really bad as we move into the next couple of months. Thank you guys a ton for being here, tracking that cold front. I'll see you in a few minutes, News 6 to 10 on YouTube and on News 6 Plus. And then, of course, at 11 o'clock, right back here on the traditional TV side of things at 11 o'clock. Stay safe, stay warm. I'll see you in a few minutes.